Hey everyone, so we're just doing a quick video today for the Fiesta. This is one of the sort of first mods we're going to be doing to it, so we're doing some awesome wheel spacers. So yeah, let's crack on and get it done. So we're going to be doing front and back on these ones, and we've got these really nice Barbarian Racing ones. So they've helped me out in the past with the Freelander, when I used to have the Freelander for the channel. And they did the silicone hose kit for the engine. So I've gone back to them to see what sort of they have, and they had these really nice wheel spacers. And they are decent. They're forged 6061 T6 aluminium. So that's what you want really, 6061 with these kind of things. It's lightweight and strong. So yeah, really nice. Huge thank you for them for helping me out with this one. We're going to get these on there. We are going to be doing front and back. So let's have a quick look at these, show you the idea behind it, and then let's fit them. Okay, so here's the two sets that I've got. So we've got the one there and the one here. Nice little boxes they come in. Really decent wrapping on them as well. So well protected. And if I just quickly take these out, give me just a moment. So these are our spacers. So you've got the two there nicely sandwiched together with that. So here's your spacer. So these are the 4x108, which is what you need for these STs, and they are hub centric as well, so they will just fit straight onto the hub neatly. They do come with these acorn nuts, and these are what go onto the original. So let's get this undone. So once this is on your hub, this is where your original studs are going to come through, and the acorns will just go in there and sit flush in there so that they don't protrude beyond this, and then your original wheel nuts are going to go back onto these new studs on the wheel. One thing I have looked at, I'm not sure if they will or not, but your original studs might protrude out further than this spacer, so they might poke out, so there might be some trimming involved in just getting those level. There's no real issue with that, to be honest with you. People have been doing it for years, and it's kind of the done practice with these, so we might end up having to trim the end off of the studs, the originals, but yeah, let's crack on and get these fitted. Okay, so first job is just going to be jacking the vehicle up. So we're jacking it up on the subframe in the middle of the vehicle. That means we can jack up the whole front at the same time and get axle stands on both sides, and we're going to put them on the sill. I know some people don't like doing that, but we need them as wide as possible really to make the vehicle as stable as possible whilst we've got the front wheels off the ground. If we put them in too near the centre, the vehicle might wobble a bit. It's quite windy. So we're just thinking about any way in which we can obviously make it a bit safer. So yeah, let's get the vehicle up and get the axle stands on. Okay, so we've got the vehicle up in the air. We've just got the axle stands, like you say, on the sills on either side there. So the next job is just going to be getting those centre hubcap bits off. Ta-da! So next is just going to be getting these 4 studs off. Now, we do have an impact gun, so we didn't need to loosen these before we took it off the ground, but as a note, you might want to loosen these off a little bit before you take it off the ground, just to make it a bit easier once it's at this point if they've already been broken off the seal. They're really short. Okay, so we've got our studs exposed now. So in theory we could just slap the spacer straight on there, but I'm going to clean this up a little bit and just make sure it's nice and tidy just going behind those spacers. We don't want to leave any of this crap in behind because we don't want anything to sort of cause galvanic corrosion between that and the spacer. So let's go ahead and clean them up. Okay, so we're just going to go over it with a wire brush just to get it nice and clean. We're just going to clean up the inside of this as well now, because it's looking a bit manky and I don't want to put that back on over the top of those spacers. Okay, so now that we've cleaned it up and everything else, we're looking at it. So you can see they protrude by maybe 2 millimeters. However, with the standard 17s that are on the car, so they are the 17 ones from Ford, you have got this inset here. So this is where the spacer is going to cause those bolts to go, because obviously we're offsetting it now with the new bolts coming through from the spacer. So having these actually is a massive help, because that means those bolts are going to sit inside that gap and not actually hit the alloy. So we won't have any spacing issues. So I'm going to go ahead and get them on, make sure there isn't any spacing issues, make sure there's no gaps, make sure it spins fine, and then we're going to crack on. But yeah, we're looking like we're in luck at the moment, just simply because of that. You know, it's a tiny amount. The acorn nuts, these are going to sit inside there anyway, and then we shouldn't have an issue with that lining up. Okay, so we're just applying a small amount of grease on this just before we get the spacer on there. There we go. Let's get this around here. That's those on. We're going to get those torqued up now. So on this it quotes 95 Newton meters. We're going to go ever so slightly higher than that just for the spacer, and then we'll do the actual wheel nuts at 95 as they state from Ford just onto these. But that is it on. It's looking lovely. So let's get it tightened up. Okay, so we've got the torque wrench out. I've got it set to 110 for these ones. I have got the extender on there, so it's slightly alter that, but there we go. So that's now 110 on each of those. Okay, so we're just going to offer the wheel up now and just make sure that none of those gaps are going to knock the back of this rim. Okay, so what we did to test it was we got the wheel on, got it nice and tight on there, and as you can see, we can see the outline now of all of this, and there's no marks on any of here. If they were pushing on, you would see sort of scuff marks, scratch marks, etc. There'd be sort of scuffing on the end of here, but we've got a nice, pretty much perfect outline of all of this around all of them. Which basically means we're getting a good seal, which is exactly what we want. We couldn't feel any gauge. Obviously this edge is ever so slightly sort of curved lipped, so you're going to feel a little bit there, but we couldn't actually get our fingernails down, etc. in there. And like I say, once we've seen all of this as well, we're pretty happy that these don't need trimming down, etc. So let's get the wheel back on and crack on with the others. Agree? I agree. I concur with that. These wheels are definitely lighter than the Freelander ones, but they are quick to get on though. They are, aren't they? 95. Okay. Okay, so that's the spacer on, wheel spins freely. The hard part is getting it sort of this because this is hub centric, it's really tight getting it on. So just making sure you've got it all bedded in properly and sat down correctly before you start torquing things up. But I'm happy that's on there nice and secure now. So all you've got to do is get the nice Ford cap back on there, and do the other 3 wheels. Okay, so that's the front's done. As you can see, it's a lot wider now. I'll get some good pictures of a before and after for when we're done. But we're going to move on to the rears now. So it's going to be exactly the same process. I'll probably just use a time lapse again for those, but I'll probably take a few pictures once it's got the wheel off and etc. showing everything. But yeah, effectively that's how we're doing. That's how it's done. There's no real difference to the rears, fronts to the rears on these. So let's crack on and do the rear. Hey everyone, it's been a couple of days since we put the wheel spacers on there now, so we basically just run out of light. It's just amazing how quickly it runs out. You run out of light at the moment. So all 4 wheel spacers are on. Like I said, when we put them on, I tightened the spacers to 110 Newton meters and the wheels back to the standard 95 Newton meters. I don't know if I put that clearly enough in the video bit, to be honest, going back through the footage. So yeah, 110 for the spacer, 95 for the wheel. It's been a couple of days now, almost a week, and I've gone back through and tested the wheels, and they're both still sat at all the Newton meters that they're supposed to be. So I'm happy that they're not undoing, they're not coming loose, etc. I really like the visual upgrade on this, to be honest with you. I really like the sort of much wider look, and the fact that it sort of overhangs a bit against the bumpers at the bottom. The rear looks a lot nicer. I thought the rears, they looked a bit sort of recessed in as standard, so they look a lot better, a lot sportier. The fronts I really like as well. So huge thank you obviously to Barbarian Racing for helping me out with this one and getting those out for me, because it's definitely massively improved the visuals of the vehicle. Handling wise, again, you're not installing new suspension, you're not spending thousands of pounds upgrading the handling, but I did notice it's slightly more planted on the road. You just notice a little bit on some corners that you're not getting quite the same body roll you did before. Not that you get a huge amount with this thing anyway, to be honest with you, but coming from a Land Rover to this, it's a bit of an improvement anyway. So yeah, minor improvement there. The steering feels a little bit lighter, which is nice. I was expecting it to get heavier if anything, but it's a little bit lighter. And I find I'm not as skitty on the road. I was worried that with it going wider it might feel a bit too sort of skitty on the road, being pulled sort of left and right, but again it actually feels less if anything, so I'm quite happy with that. But I think having the wider track just gives it a bit more of a planted feel. The only thing I have noticed is with the fronts, they do pick up a little bit more dirt now that comes up onto obviously your side skirts and everything else in your doors. Doesn't really massively bother me because I'm going to be fitting wide sort of rally style mud flaps on this thing not too long from now, so again doesn't really bother me. If you're not going to do that, again just clean the car every once a week or so. It's obviously worse in winter because we're picking up more crud at the moment, but yeah, not really anything really to concern yourself with. But yeah, really like the new look of these. I think they're fantastic. So yeah, again, huge thank you to Barbarian Racing for this one, and yeah, see you on the next video.